I need to break something to you. Degrees are a man-made thing. What? No way. Okay, so listen. You know how we measure angles in degrees? Well, guess what? Somebody made that thing up. Somebody came up with that system of measuring things in degrees and stuff like that. But it's man-made. It's social, which means we gotta rebel because we're anarchists. No, I'm joking. We're not anarchists. We're the opposite of anarchists. I don't know. We love the system. Listen, I'm gonna show you a different way though. It's called radians. So you got a circle, and you have the center of the circle, which is about right there. I'm joking. It's about right there. And you got an angle, let's say. And that is the radius of r. Right? From here to here is the radius of r. Right? There to there. Now let's say you got this angle right here. And actually, let me make it a little bit bigger. There we go. So we could measure this in degrees, you know, the usual way, degrees. Chop this up into 60, 70 degrees or whatever. But there's another way of measuring this angle. And the way we measure it is we check this arc right here, this arc, and we check the length of it. And we say if that length is equal to this radius, to the radius of the circle, then this arc length or this angle is equal to 1 radian. Is equal to 1 radian. So we measure, there's another way of measuring this, and it's called radians. And the way it works is that you take the circumference or the length of the arc length of whatever you're measuring, and that angle will be equal to the length of that divided by the radius. So it'll really be the circumference. Well, it'll be the arc length between the 2 points you're measuring divided by the radius, and that will get you what we call radians. So 1 radian is an angle of 1 radian will be equal to, means that the arc length of this circle is equal to the radius of the circle. That's a radian. Now, if I were to ask you, hey, what about a full circle, huh? What if I go 360 degrees? This is weird. I want to talk about degrees. Well, if I go to full circle, I'll be measuring essentially the entire circumference of the circle. And the circumference of a circle is equal to 2 pi r, right? And what we got to do to find out how many radians this is, the angle of all this, we would just say it's usually 360, but we're trying to find it in radians, we would have to divide that by the radius. Divide that by the radius, well, guess what? These two cancel out. What you're left with is 2 pi radians. 2 pi radians. So 360 degrees in terms of radians is equal to 2 pi. Degrees in terms of radians is equal to 2 pi. 2 pi radians. So 2 pi radians, let me write radians. 2 pi radians is equal to 360 degrees. Okay, well, what about 180 degrees, right? What if I go from here to here? From here to here, right? Half. I go in a straight line across it. What about that angle? Well, you could take the circumference of it and divide that by 2, and you would have half of the circle circumference, and that'd be pi r. So let's do that. Well, actually, okay, we could do it 2 ways. So if we were to take this and we want to find out the radians of this half, we're taking from here to here. which is half the circumference. Circumference is 2 pi r. So divide this by 2. These cancel out. You get left with pi r, and then we have to divide this length. This is the length of the circumference, the part of the circumference that we're measuring, the arc. Divide that by r, and we're left with pi radians. So 180 degrees is equal to pi radians. To pi radians. Or we could have just divided 2 pi radians by 2 and divided 360 by 2, and we would have been left with pi radians and 180 degrees. I understand this can be kind of daunting. You're like, what is this? This is so weird. I hate this. Let's go back to the regular system. And I tell you, no, we cannot do that, mon amino papachino. We must learn this, and you will get used to it. So, in terms of radians, if we wanted to measure the angle of a circle or a specific thing, in terms of radians, you would take the arc length of the portion you're measuring and divide that by the radius of that circle. And you would get the degrees that you're measuring in terms of radians. So yeah, stay in school. Bye.